Hello, this is Gary.
Hi, Gary. This is Chris Kurtz.
Chris, how's it going?
I'm very well, sir. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Yeah, I've been reading about your bio and everything about what you've been doing. That's a lot of technology there for, my generation, and I guess your generation, coming through the whole, went from just, basic stuff, Atari games, virtual reality and stuff. I mean, just it's
How about it?
crazy stuff. I mean, how did we
You know,
come so far? Yeah.
Gary, it's a slippery slope talking about it because a lot of people um, really don't know what they think about it. A lot of people you get mixed verses on opinions, but the general consensus is, if you talk too much about tech and some of the stuff behind the scenes, it can tend to get a little techie,
Yeah.
and a lot of the normal demographic will drop off. But what I say to, like, when I'm out, I was just out with my aunt to dinner, and she's looking around at everyone that has their phones in their hands and so forth,
Right.
and the tech is upon us,
Sure.
and if you just do the math, in the next 3 years, we're going to take the same leap we did in the last 150.
Wow.
So if you just look at it that way, you'll start to make sense of everything. When you see an avatar hovering above you at the turnpike, it'll start to make sense. There'll be an app, like there's an app for that, right?
Right.
That's how they tend to discover new technologies. I think the stairway to the metaverse is going to be AR through our phones.
Yeah.
And that's why Virtual Talking Machine Company has gone the route of capturing some of the artist's performance, so we can preserve it in the metaverse. And when Web3 is finally here with a vengeance, we're taking early care at archiving that volumetric capture, um, so we can have our artists
So
like Sammy Hagar
so cool.
prepare for that shift. Heck, it's fun. It's a fun time to be alive. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Well, tell me now, since you're talking about you've got your group, the Mediatwist Group. I know you've been working with different people for entertainment, and I know you're talking about the virtual talking record label with Sammy Hagar. And now y'all just did four. Am I right? Four videos in one day. Is that a record?
Yeah, Gary. So, and
Crazy.
I got into arguments with Tom Consolo, bless his soul. He's the top of the food chain in all things Sammy Hagar.
Yeah.
Sammy has taxed him with patrolling his career and cataloging and making sure everything is done at the highest integrity. And when I decided to build, backing up a little bit here, so the Mediatwist Group is this ad agency that I built a long time ago, and I was a producer. You'll never get this time back, but I was a producer at Feld Entertainment, Monster Jam, Disney on Ice, Barnum and Billy
So
Circus,
cool.
and I
Cool.
produced live shows. So I knew how that worked. A technical director and production manager, and all the different roles and how they work together to drive sponsorship and line of sight and so forth. And I saw this shift when I moved my company, the Mediatwist Group, to Lidditz, to work with companies like the Claire Brothers and Claire Sound, and here at the backstage of the World at Rock Lidditz. If I could just have the internet at the show, I could do all these amazing things that were about to come. And when I would play my 30-second jumbotron ad spot for Ford Motor Company at Monster Jam, and they were giving us a few million a year in sponsorship. I noticed most of the kids in the audience, the 8-year-old Johnnies I had, 30% of the audience and their parents weren't looking up at the Jumbotron.
Right.
And that was, 7, 8 years ago.
Right.
And I noticed that shift in attention focus happening again. So the Media Twist Group started doing stuff in show earliest and selling ad space and really controlling behaviors on phones. And that's what the Media Twist Group is an ad agency that we cut our teeth in motorsports, and then music. I spent time with Five Finger Death Punch. I lived on Zoltan Bathory's tour bus.
Wow.
We historically used these same ad tools to sell out arenas that hadn't been sold out since Elvis.
Wow.
And all we were doing, Gary, is just geofencing those markets. I was getting ticket sales reports back from Live Nation and different promoters of what shows hadn't sold out yet. And this was with Five Finger. It was a Five Finger Death Punch. Hell Yeah, Vinny was on before us, rest in peace, and Nothing More. And we had Volbeat as well with us. And we were rolling into some areas that really weren't saturated yet. We weren't selling out right away. So anyway, long story short, Zoltan was one of the first guys especially in the metal genre, to really hone into these tools and use them in a geofencing sense that's kind of where the Mediatwist Group got the attention of some major camps, working with Alan Kovac's bands. You get a good name for yourself. And so then I literally woke up a few months ago and said, let's take this relationship, some of the relationships we have with management. They trusted us because we brought a lot of new tech to their camps earliest. And so let's take that to the next step, and let's start producing music videos here at Rock Lidditz, where we're located. And we have the best vendors and access to can make whatever. The Super Bowl halftime show was just made here by vendors like Comic and Tate. So whatever I needed done, whatever Sammy wanted to do and whatever Tom Consola wanted done in these videos, I'd be able to make it. And then he came out and said, let's do 4. If we're going to be there and I'm going to get these guys there, let's do 4 videos in one day. And Tom saw how I moved and shaked as a producer of Live Entertainment. And now I own an ad agency and a content agency. So I can get 200 stories in vertical reels made per day for a client. Yeah. Tom saw that, and I made him the first board of directors, the director of the board of, on Virtual Talking Machine Company, this record label that I was going to preserve the integrity of immortalize the artist's performance, basically. So I was smart by naming him on the board, and then he said, he helped me with the structure of the actual record label. So Virtual Talking Machine Company is one of the first record labels in the Metaverse to take some of these Web3 assets and have transactional sales and generate revenue for the artists. We're happy to do it for a legend like Sammy Hagar.
That's so cool. I mean, I'm sitting here thinking about, and you're talking about like in the future you can have like a 3D image of the band, and it would be like they're there, and this could be like 100 years in the future, right? So
you get it. Gary, I don't care what demographic you're coming at this tech from. It's the suspended disbelief that it's the Madame Tussauds. Why is Madame Tussauds a thing, a wax museum? Because it's about line of proximity.
That's right.
Where I go into a wax museum and I can get this close. If you could see me right now, I'm holding my hand on my face. I can get this close to Queen Elizabeth, and I would never in real life be able to get that close to her without getting thumped on my head from her security, right?
Yeah, right.
That line of proximity. It's the same thing when I went to see Elton John a few months ago. We were invited to a show, 6th row, front and center. It's that moment he comes out and you're that close to him. That line of proximity. When I was in college at Penn State and I went to the U2's Europa tour, and I was up in the nosebleed section, drinking my face off. I couldn't tell you one thing. I couldn't tell you the set list. I couldn't tell you anything about it. I didn't even see Bono that entire time, right?
Right.
I wasn't close to him. I was up in I think it's that line of proximity, the closeness, and what Web3 is going to do is going to provide a good enough scalability of the likeness and the IP. So I'm going to be able to get that same thing I get at the Madame Tussauds Wax Museum, that suspended disbelief. And if you can capture suspended disbelief in anything, in any platform, game over. You know, it's when the AR pig at the Roger Waters show,
Yeah.
you know, some tech that, you know, a lot of pieces of that show are built here,
Cool.
by the amazing vendors here at Rocklet. It's when the pig, you know, looks at you in the audience, and then he looks at Roger and the kick drum, you know, and then the pig reacts. It's that
Right.
when you watch the fans' jaws drop and they have that moment, what did I just see?
Right.
That's suspended disbelief, right? So Web3 in a whole new way, whether it's on a video wall behind them, like ABBA's doing right now with palpable 360 video wall with a live band in front of it,
Right.
or it's what Vinco Ventures and the teams at Hyperreal are doing. Remington Scott with folks at the Brook and One NFT folks that, you know, taking and creating, or what we did with Brett Alexander, the Badleys, and Sammy, taking and de-aging them, in a way, because if we can create a digital human of them, now, and I just joked about this in an email this morning to Sammy, um, where he'll tell you when he first met me, he thought I was batshit crazy. And,
And he's not. No, I'm just kidding.
and,
Just kidding, Sammy.
well, and he's the man's he's an amazing thinker, right? And
He
but
is.
he knows that an artist is good at what they do, so he allows that to breathe.
Yeah.
So he's allowed our entire team in the production of these music videos. He's really had very little hovering over it. I went through moments of sleepless nights on this project where I was like, "What the WTF was I thinking?" Offering to produce videos for a man that spent so much money in his career and time and art, and had the access to the most amazing artists and directors to produce these things. What
Right.
was I thinking? And when I sent him the music video, and he called me back and approved of it, like the first rough cut. I was like, wow, this is amazing. This is how easy it's going to be to work with this man. And kudos to hats off to our team to nail it like that. And one of the videos we did, Father Time, that's the one, Gary, that's going to have the de-aging
Okay.
piece in it. The song, it's produced by David Cobb, and it's it's up. I think there's early talks of it being up for a Grammy.
Oh wow.
In the song, Sammy goes back to his talks about his father in the song and how it was growing up and so forth. And in that song, we're going to there's a shot that we captured of the camera goes long and slow into his pupil, a tight shot into his eye, into the 74-year-old version of Sammy Hagar that we know today,
Right.
into his face with, you know, the stubbles of his beard and so forth. And then when he comes out, he's going to be a de-aged. I can't say too much more about
Yeah.
from when and what era. You can maybe do the math,
Right.
but he's going to be a de-aged version of Sammy. So we're excited to show that. Then that's really the de-aging piece is only one little trinket of how the whole technology of Web3 is going to be able to be used. For example, we partnered with Microsoft at Avatar Dimension and did some vol cap of some of our artists, to where now you can put on you could put on a Brett Alexander or Flow Rider concert in your master bathroom,
Wow.
through the magic of your cell phone, just
Yeah.
by clicking the link, right?
Wow.
I don't know how Web3 is really going to make a splash. I don't know if it's going to be an ocular glass, if it's going to be a Ray-Ban, or it's going to be the I don't know. I'm not sure how it's going to be a TV screen, but what the virtual talking machine company does is we capture that likeness, we create the digital human. One of the things we're playing with in videos now is de-aging it, so that's fun. And if you look at some of the artists that Tom Consolo does right now, the excitement in our camp to, you know, you're only as good as your last song. And when you do when you produce 4 songs for Sammy Hagar and you nail it, you do it all in one day, and all within the constraints of a historical budget.
Yeah.
And how we got it done was really, someday we'll talk about that. But when you catch a wave with Sammy Hagar, it's pretty easy to work for anybody, really. So we're starting to get calls from like Cheap Trick.
Oh,
We
cool.
had the folks from Cheap Trick. They got in their car and drove all the way out here from Rockford, Illinois,
Wow.
last month. And it really started with the marketing agency, marketing all of the products. So we did Santo and Beach Bar Rum and helped those guys and consulted them on social media and advertising and marketing tricks. And same for Rick Nielsen of Cheap Trick, his Rockin' Vodka.
Cool.
So when they heard about this, this producer kid in the middle of cornfield that owns an ad agency that's going to sell us, sell $1 million worth of our product, put our product in all of the, for example, I got Sammy's Santo tequila and all of the Tin Roof locations. That's coming soon. You'll hear about that activation, and along with it, in Sammy Hagar's band, you have two Hall of Famers in that
Sure.
band, right?
Yes.
Right. So you have Sammy Hagar, you have Michael
Michael.
Free, you have an amazing band. First of all, Michael Anthony, the bass player, Vic Johnson, and Jason Bonham, right, on drums.
Right.
But when you work for them, you learn real quick that there's two Hall of Famers that you cater to. It's usually in a lot of camps you just cater to the singer, right?
Right.
The face of the band, he's the rock star, and the singer gets the suite, the band gets the kind of regular rooms. We learned real quickly that it was Sammy Hagar and the Michael Anthony show, rightfully so,
Sure.
from the get of working with these guys. So with that, I secured a couple brand deals for Michael Anthony, Matt Anthony's hot sauce. Actually, and I think I heard the other day from Tom on a business call that it's maybe one of the first deals we do in the history of the band, that because I was adamant about making Michael Anthony's hot sauce a part of the equation too.
Cool.
And when you do these deals and these licensing deals, the singer's product can kind of be the squeaky wheel, and it can kind of lead the conversations.
Right.
Very careful to always throw in the hot sauce. I don't know if you've ever had the hot sauce.
I haven't, but I've been seeing the ads and people bragging on it.
Shame plug, but yeah, try the hot sauce. Nothing against tequila. The tequila is great too, Sammy, but the hot sauce and these guys they didn't just slap a white label on their product. Sammy can just say, and if you look back in the trajectory and history of product and entrepreneurship in this band, Sammy was the first rock star to make, having his own spirit cool.
Cool. Wow.
Right.
That's really cool. He started a chain reaction, I think, of people trying to do that too.
I really do believe that. If you look up the trajectory of it, it started with him.
Yeah.
And he did it right. He was able to, experience acquisition, sold it for, I think, just under $100 million. That's public information. And then he's gone on. So he enjoys what he's doing. He didn't just slap a label on it. He crafted the taste of the tequila. It was important of where they got the agave.
Right.
And amazing valley of blue in Mexico, and he's got the whole backstory behind it. He's very involved in it. So Michael Anthony, the same thing with his hot sauce, super involved in the crafting of the taste. So it's not just your white labeled sauce that anyone slaps their name on,
right,
and it ends up in the Dollar Tree. It's not really good sauce. So I encourage you and your listeners to try it.
Sure. That I will definitely try that. I've been wanting to try. I love hot sauce, so I want to try that. So
send me your address, and I'll have Ryan, our guy, send you a nice little care package after the call.
I will do that. Are you still there? I think they'll lose you.
Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say I heard some cutting out. So tell me, as you're recording all this and you're doing these videos. So Sammy and the guys, they got to view everything after the fact, and what was their reaction like when they saw all this stuff?
Oh goodness! So the very first, and I have the voice message on my phone. It's pretty amazing. Like I said, I lost sleep, and I woke up the next morning to it, and basically. Not verbatim, but Sammy's reaction to Crazy Times, which Crazy Times is currently live. It just released last Friday. It's on YouTube right now.
Cool video, by the way. Yeah.
Thank you. And directed by Travis Detweiler, and edited by my guy Eric Griffin. Amazing, talented crew. One of Travis's last claim to fame was Lincoln Park. So and that's another touting to the community we have here to dip from.
Cool.
But his reaction was, "I love the red stripes. I'm madly in love with them," I think is what he said. And then there's something I can't really, I don't want to elaborate on it. Maybe I'll drop it as an Easter egg here.
Okay.
It's still a living, breathing thing. I don't think that anyone's commented on, but he pulled that video back from the very first cut. He loved everything about it. And he said there was something that he wanted to add that is, in his terms, the epitome of crazy times. So I can't say more on that. It's live now. I would go through the video and check it out if I were you.
All right. See, that's a good marketing strategy. Right?
I didn't even try. That. I promise. I'm sitting here right now as I'm saying that. I'm recollecting in my head. Is that gonna get me in trouble with anything? Oh,
I was gonna say,
the producer do first. So I think we're good.
Okay, so it's safe. I was gonna say, just let me know if all of a sudden, if YouTube blows up and everything. There's millions of views, and they're trying to figure out what is up.
There's so many. When it comes out, there's so many ironies behind what I'm talking. I'm speaking so cryptically now. It's hilarious, but
I love it.
When it comes out, you and I will look back at this. Maybe we'll barbecue together someday.
Yeah.
But
Sure.
we'll laugh about this moment for sure.
I'm sure we will. That's what I love about stuff like that. And I know the fans love everything about Sammy. I've been a Sammy fan for years. I saw Van Halen from the front row in Pensacola in '95, and they were on MTV. I was on MTV for like 0.0001 seconds.
Oh, that's super cool. Yeah, that's great.
And Eddie was right there. I mean, Sammy and Eddie sweated on me. That's how close I was to the.
Isn't that's what
so
I'm talking?
Cool.
That's the kind of proximity I'm talking, like right there, and they looked at you, right?
Right, sure did. They sure did. And so, tell me this. Tell me, somebody that says, "No, it ain't the same." Now, let's say 100 years from now, they're like, "It's not really them." How do you talk to somebody to tell them how good that is, as opposed to the real thing? They're going to say it's not the real thing.
I will tell you that it's the closest we've ever had. It's this technology is going to revolutionize the death industry, the business of dying, because we leave wills now where when I'm dead I want this to happen. Well, when I'm dead, if I can actually program my avatar to have a conversation with you,
that's cool.
Prior to the fact, I mean, look it up. It's happening right now. Not to get morbid, but other uses of the tech are we're capturing the survivors, the final survivors of the Holocaust right now.
Wow.
Because I truly believe in 30 years from now, the telling the story, hearing, your Jewish granddaughter hearing the story from her grandmother, her great grandmother, it can be told like no other. And the suspended disbelief, because it's in 8K and it's exactly the digital version of the human like we've never been able to experience before. That is good enough to comfort us in the afterlife, if you will, right?
Sure.
One of the first things I said to Sammy when I went up to him, one of the first things, without dropping any, I can't talk about the next project yet, but one of the first things I'm telling them is, you're going to be dead soon. Like, literally, you're going to be off of this earth, and you've spent a lifetime worried about just capturing the audio and some of the video. That's it. That's all you have, is a 2D version of the audio. Your whole life is built on it. Your LaFerrari that you own, your tequila brand, all of it is built off of capturing 2D audio. That's all. And now we have the ability to capture a whole volume and motion capture and preserve that. So I'm looking at Virtual Talking Machine Company to be kind of like the ASCAP or the BMI, the Preservation Society, that looks after, capturing these files and what do we do with them and so forth. The big play for Virtual Talking Machine Company is after these videos, these videos we're releasing, Crazy Times, there's nothing Metaverse or NFT or Web3 about that video. The fourth video, Father Time, is where we actually have to create the Web3 and de-aged Metaverse asset, if you will. And that's the asset that performs like the record. So we cut the record with the artist, Sammy, and then we get a split and a recoupable split on that asset. So we plan on using that capture. Sammy's, I just told him this morning in email, as I was saying earlier, I said to him, stay home in your pajamas, and we're going to send your avatar. We're going to send your avatar to welcome people to a soccer stadium in Dubai. And they're all going to look up and they're going to say, that's the I Can't Drive 55 guy. And it looks just like him. And we didn't even need you, Sammy, to capture that. And not going into the whole next conversation of deep fake.
Yeah.
But when you can send an artist or an actor to a film set and just send their avatar instead of sending them, that's the whole world is about to get flopped on its head. It's fun.
It's cool. But like you said, I mean, hopefully it all stays in good hands. You don't, for the people that are trying to fake people out in that sense, that's a different world. But I guess it's all in with, but it's just all in with the territory, I guess. I mean, the good and bad, right?
Gary, really, you bring up a good point where, the deep faking that's happening. Especially like you bring a good example that comes to mind when you said that is the Tom Cruise,
right?
The Miles Fisher kid on Instagram that's running around doing a fantastic job of using the technology, and he's faking people out. But it's highlighting the tech, if you will, but it also highlights the concern to the integrity behind and the actual IP and likeness that belongs and is owned by the celebrity in question. I'm sure Tom Cruise right now and his attorney are trying to figure out what their wiggle room is.
Yeah.
Right. So the whole thing is in likeness and IP is about to get flopped on its head.
Sure.
I'm completely honored to have talks with with like guys like Tony Bierman, Sammy's attorney, guys that were there when the internet came out. When the internet first came out and Steve Jobs said, here's a thing called iTunes and I'm going to destroy the entire music industry. He was an attorney on the scene that had to figure that out. And now he's one of the guys behind the scenes here trying to make sense of everything that I'm saying. So I get to use some of these OGs in my corner because some of the folks I chose to go down this pathway with, and I can't believe how it's going to change in a great way, in a great way.
And so you're one of the first ones to really capture all this, right, for music. I mean, so everybody's gonna look back and say, this started it all, and Sammy Hagar right, it's really going to blow up, and they're going to look back.
I don't want to take. I'm not going to take credit for being one of the only ones.
Mm-hmm.
I will tell you that I am one of the first to do it in a sense to bring it to the legends, to where the most of the talent that I'm looking to do this with are the folks that aren't going to be here the longest.
Yeah.
So the Ariana Grandes of the world don't really interest me at the moment. The Taylor Swifts,
right.
Which, by the way, they all come through here at our location at Rocklet. It's to build different parts of their show and their tech and so forth. But I'm more interested in the Sammy Hagars, the Willie Nelsons of the world, the REO Speedwagons. Hopefully soon. If you look at who Tom Consolo handles, he handles Pat Benatar, REO Speedwagon. So we're already in talks with pursuing some projects with those folks because I want to preserve that. I want to be able to, in 30 years from now, when the volumetric capture file becomes the vinyl record. And we haven't. I can't even talk about it really in a conventional processor yet. But when the the volumetric capture is needed, um, I want to be one of the pioneers, and I will be, just because being one of the earliest at it.
That's so cool.
Uh, and it told me I was one of the earliest, and the reason I kept, bless my wife for not for figuring this all out, really, and not divorcing my ass.
Wow.
When it came to, we have to run an ad agency with multiple clients
Hmm.
all over the world and different industries, and then I said, hey, let's start a record label.
Right.
And in that record label, and all this crazy George Jetson stuff, and she kind of helped. Like, we call her the general. She kind of helped us make sense of all of it,
Wow.
in a business sense. Then you tie in your money team, and your money team says, all right, we're going to bring Sammy Hagar in. We're gonna do a benefit for a local nonprofit. We're gonna raise $250,000 for them, and then we're gonna have enough money to produce all of these videos in one day. I mean, you tie in the whole, the warm and fuzzy community. Sammy was here; he was very giving of his time, and that's really part of Virtual Talking Machine Company, the record label, the model we have here at Rock Lidditz. I'm fortunate enough to have a black box here, as it's called. It's called Mickey's Black Box. We refer to it as the Black Box. If you look up Rocklit, you'll see it's all just it's a cornfield with a whole bunch of black boxes in it.
Okay.
One of those black boxes happens to be designed by a mad scientist in the music industry by the name of Michael Tate. Highly regarded, as one of the he, in my opinion, is one of the coolest guys walking around the earth here in Lidditz, Pennsylvania. And he built. Imagine him building. He's the guy that his claim to fame was he built the toaster that spit Michael Jackson out of the stage, and then he went on to build some of the biggest stages in all of staging, from U2's Europa
Wow.
to the And Justice for All scales that Metallica used behind them, to Bruno Mars's new set, to Taylor Swift, and so on. And that's why they all come here to Lidditz, is for vendors like Tate,
Right.
Claire, and Mediatwist. Mediatwist happens to be the lead ad agency in all of music. So, while they're here, I was able to put on this whole model, and then create the music videos, and then now the for the grand finale is Father Time, the fourth video we created that's up for a Grammy, produced by David Cobb. All four of these songs were produced, in Nashville with Cobb, and Father Time is the one we're actually going to DH him, and that is going to become an NFT. So the NFT operates kind of like the vinyl record, right? The
Right.
NFT is the vinyl record that the artist used to cut with the label,
Right.
and then Virtual Talking Machine Company becomes the label that controls the asset, recoups it, and then, along with the artist, generates revenue off of it.
So
Make
cool.
sense?
Yeah. I mean, that's really cool how that's going to be. I was thinking too about, you were talking about, in the future, like Sammy, years from now. Now, I know you're able to capture, images and things like that, but what about, like, are there going to be computer that use the technology to, like, record his voice and save it, like, in a data bank, to have, like, a conversation with him, like an actual conversation? Will he respond and things like
You know,
that? Right?
Gary, it's funny you say that. So one of the things right now, um, so you're describing an AI platform, and there's many of them out there right now. I'm going to talk about one of them quickly. One of them we use is called Descript, DESCRIPT.com, Descript.com. But you basically go there, and as long as you spend time training the robot, training means show him or her, whatever the robot is, show them, all of the pictures you want them to build of something, or all of the audio versions of something. You can come up with some pretty amazing stuff. So, long story short, we're going to be using this in our, Rock and Vodka, one of the vodka companies for Rick Nielsen, where instead of having Rick Nielsen get together 4, 10, 15 times a year to shoot commercials for his product company, we can now have him read a script that's 30 minutes long, and then we can have an AI voice, say exactly how Rick would sound, anything we want Rick to say.
Wow. That's crazy.
Nuts, right?
Yeah, and they're gonna make like a Terminator movie where the Terminator comes back and stops you from doing all. No, I'm just kidding.
Yes, that there's some type of care and just responsibility that should be put. As you know, there's this old phrase as marketers we ruin everything.
Yeah, right.
You know, we thought the pop-up ad of the late 90s
Oh yeah.
in browsers was a great way to market to people, right?
Right.
We ruined it, right? And then the people, and same thing with Facebook, we ruined that, so now they're over on Snapchat and then TikTok, right? Um, so I truly believe there's a type of responsibility that goes into using these tools.
Sure.
And that's how I've entered. I've taken these tools and I've very carefully and eloquently partnered with the right OGs in the music industry, like Tom Consola. If you look up Tom Consola, in my opinion, in music, there's nobody with a more military Marine type of disciplined and stand up, full of integrity type of background.
Yeah.
And the man single-handedly built the music industry for and with Irving Azoff.
Right.
So if you can't tell, I'm a huge fan of his, and I'm super honored that he's taken a leap of faith and brought his artist to the Sammy Hagar, and we joke about this. He's a West Coast guy. You never get a West Coast guy to the East Coast to do anything. It's too cold.
Right.
It's too early and too cold. So to have Sammy come all the way out here to Lidditz, Pennsylvania, has just been a great feather in our cap.
Sure. He's always like at the beach every time I see him, like on social media, like on Instagram. he's in Maui or something. He's never in Alaska.
Sure is. Yeah, he's right. Like when we met him, we were invited to, and how I did it, I had to bring Tom out here. You have to bring the management out here for months, and you have to prove yourself to them and show them exactly what you're going to want to do with the artist. Right. And I did that, and then Tom had to go back to California. So I had to actually go with Tom and my team. We had to fly to Catalina Island and attend his birthday bash last year.
Right.
And that was the first time I got to meet Sammy. And it was a crazy cool experience. We'll be back. We'll be going. If you've never been to his birthday bash, get out to it.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
in October. I'd love to go there. Yeah, I've always heard about it. That would be really cool to be there.
You think about it. This guy's still alive.
It's crazy. I mean, it's just amazing. I was watching the video this morning. I'm thinking he sounds like he did back 30 years 40 years ago. I'm thinking, geez, man.
They played all of the, like, if you watch a Sammy Hagar and the Circle show, they break out all of the hits and then some. It sounds better, and I truly do believe Michael Anthony has the best voice in the band.
Oh man, he's awesome.
Yeah, so to see them perform, it was a biblical experience in Catalina on an island in an old fancy Rat Pack casino. That's where he had his birthday bash. So it was biblical. I have chills just telling you how cool it was.
Oh wow!
But if you haven't been out to see the band yet, do yourself a favor and get out. It's one of those things that you're going to regret it. When Led Zeppelin's gone, you're going to regret it.
Sure. Well, I don't want to wait for the virtual reality. I want to see it now. Right.
So, it's funny. I'll turn you on to some of the. I'll turn you on. I wish if this was a Zoom of some sort where I could share my screen, I'd show you the Elvis Costello "Pump It Up" video that we're working on right now.
Oh, cool.
But I will tell you that it's a homage to one of his earlier works. And we're super proud of it, and it's getting wrapped up right now. But I'll give you a link so you can see it earlier, right?
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, be awesome.
All right.
Well, I appreciate you talking to me, man. I got all this information. I'm really into all that stuff. I love that technology and the stuff like that. It's exciting to think about. But I know Sammy's excited about the whole thing.
And for a guy that's seen so many iterations of tech, and to have a team wrapped around him to be able to take a leap of faith. He just told me this morning. He said, "You're one special mofo. I see whose team you're on, yeah. And we're running this race together, and we're gonna win the fucking race together." Pardon my.
That's cool.
But when you hear that from a legend, you know you're not too far off of the right track.
Well, it sounds like you got the perfect combo of people working with you. I mean, at the right time. I mean, I think Sammy Hagar and then the guy, Tom and you sounds like a all-star cast that's going to do some good stuff. It sounds like
Honestly, I just want to throw it to Tom and Sammy again. Just having those guys as your fraternity brothers,
crazy, man.
And same with just a lot of the relationships I've been in with these artists, like Five Finger, like Zoltan Bathory, another one, where I've kind of been in these camps at some volatile times, and we've made some money together. I find the quickest way. This is funny, and then I'll shut up. The quickest way to generate trust with an artist and an artist management is to generate revenue for them.
Sure.
So then that's how we do it. So it's to be able to do it with legends while they're here roaming the earth with us. These people are going to be the dinosaurs that we talk about that roamed the earth 100 years ago. So to be able to work with them now while they're here is just I'm tickled to do it.
Well, that's what it's all about, and that's why I love doing stuff like this, to talk about it and talk music and talk about music is live, and it's so cool to discuss people like Sammy and you and everybody that's working, making some awesome videos and music, and I appreciate you talking to me today.
Well, thank you, Gary, and appreciation goes right back to you, and your platform and the stuff that you do to highlight the stuff that we do. So thank you for what you do.
Hey, I appreciate it, man. And if you want to send me some hot sauce,
I sure will, buddy.
I haven't forgot. I'll. Do you want me to send you my?
Please text me, send me, email, whatever you have.
Sure.
Send me your contact, and I'll have the team send a nice little care box out to it. What state are you in?
I'm in Alabama.
Alabama, right? Okay,
Yeah.
I thought so. I've been listening to your shows. I'll have the team send out a nice care box, and then all I ask is that you have an Instagram.
Yes.
Instagram the shots and tag Matt Anthony in them.
Hey, I sure will.
Good stuff. Gary, thanks for the time. Thanks for taking the time.
Yeah, no problem, man. Thanks so much for talking to me today. And I'm looking forward to all the videos and everything, and I'm gonna be looking for that Easter egg moment.
Yeah, check it out. It's out right now. It's under our noses as we speak. It's on YouTube. Just search up Crazy Times. And then the next video comes out here, I think, in like a week and a half or two. Don't quote me on this.
Okay.
And then there's 4 videos. The Crazy Times, the first one. The next one is Pump It Up, and then Funky Feng Shui, and then Father Time. Awesome. So look for those. And thanks again, Gary, for taking the time. It's great talking to you, man.
Thank you, Chris. I appreciate you.
All right, brother. Have a good day.
All right, you too. All right, bye.
Bye-bye.